A lovely and warm good morning to our most valued and respected dignitaries on board, management committee members, sponsor of this EFDP, ATAL AICTE New Delhi, participants from all over India, and my dear colleague friends. Myself, Rajaram Das, Assistant Professor, Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, on behalf of entire organizing committee, wholeheartedly welcome you to the fourth day of EFDP program sponsored by ATAL AICTE and organized by Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, Odisha. First of all, on the very onset, I would like to thank the Almighty God who has kept us safe during this pandemic condition. To embark today's program, a very traditional beginning, let us start with a virtual presentation of land lightning followed by Ganesh Vandana.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा
With the blessings of Lord Sri Ganesha, let us start today's event. Dear participants, we have our most eminent resource person for this session 1 of Day-4 EFDP, Professor Dr. Jagannath Sahu sir with us. First of all, I would like to welcome once again Professor Jagannath Sahu sir onto this FDP platform and thank him for accepting our invitation and sparing his valuable time for all of us. Without further ado, let me take the opportunity to introduce Professor Sahu sir to all of us ahead of his presentation. Professor Dr. Jagannath Sahu sir is currently working as Director, School of Pharmaceutical and Population Health Informatics, DIT University, Dehradun. Professor Sahu sir has completed his M.Pharm from Birla Institute of Technology and Sciences, Pilani, and PhD in Pharmacy from the Jubilee University of Technology, Odisha. Before joining DIT University, Sir has worked as Principal, KIT College of Pharmacy, Ghaziabad, Director in Sri Ram Murthy Smarak College of Engineering and Technology, Bareilly, UP, and worked as Vice Principal and Professor and HOD Pharmaceutical Technology in Royal College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, Berhampur, Odisha. Professor Sahu has an overall teaching and research experience of 28 years. Sir has guided 65 projects for B.Pharm, M.Pharm, and PhD candidates. Professor Sahu has published around 53 research papers, out of which 25 are national and 28 are of international repute. Sir has filed 12 patents and got 5 granted and published 3 books. His research area of concern are controlled release drug delivery system, enhancement of solubility of poorly soluble drugs, stability studies, and formulation developments. Sir holds a life membership in various professional bodies like ISTE, APTI, ISTP, and he is the first president of Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India, Odisha State Branch. Sir is also the member of editorial board of various repute journals, reviewer of many national and international journals. Sir has acted as convener, chairman, or member of organizing committee of international, national, state level Indian Pharmaceutical Congress and different APTI conferences. Professor Sahu has acted as a mentor in Inspire program sponsored by DST and various faculty development programs. Professor Sahu is also the mentor of Change, Change of Kendriya Vidyalaya for Atal Tinkering Lab nominated by Niti Aayog, Government of India. Sir is the member of IAAC of 9 different organizations appointed by CPCSA, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India, Animal Welfare Department. With this short introduction, may I now request Professor Jagannath Sahu sir on board to deliver his talk on blockchain in healthcare system.
Yeah,
Welcome,
thank
sir.
you. Thank you, Rajaram Das, for your nice introduction. First of all, I would like to thank Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences and AICTE for inviting me as a resource person. And a special thanks to Dr. Viswamohan Sahu, constantly being in touch with me and coordinating this event. And I'm very much thankful for the great visionary Dr. J. Surya Rao and Dr. J. Jayalakshmi Madam, and my heartiest thanks to my friend Dr. Ravi Kumar, principal of Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences, and Dr. Niranjan Patra, the vice principal of REEFs. And as I said, my special thanks goes to Dr. Vishwamohan Sahu. My dear faculty members, very good morning to every one of you. And Mr. Rajaram Das, thanks for your nice introduction. And I appreciate the Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences for holding such a wonderful theme, that is artificial intelligence in drug development, recent trends and future perspectives. My dear friends, all of us, we know that artificial intelligence is one of the language that we must have to learn so that we can say that we are literate in the present era. Previously we were saying that those who are not those who do not know how to write and read, they are illiterate. Later on, those who are not able to know what is computer, they were called as illiterate. But at present, I can say that those who will not be knowing artificial intelligence, they will be called as illiterate. My slides are visible.
No,
Sir,
sir,
any
no,
one
sir.
of you can say that my slides are
No,
visible?
no, sir. You share first.
It's
Not
visible?
No, sir. No, no. You can start sharing, sir.
Yeah, I have started sharing.
Again, you try, sir.
Yeah, is it visible
Yes,
now?
yes, just can.
Yeah.
Just can.
Thank you.
Make,
Thank you.
Sir, make it full
Yeah.
screen. Okay.
Yeah.
Make it hide, sir.
Sorry. Yeah, this one I'll make it high. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
continue.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vishwamohan. And I'll today my topic of discussion will be blockchain in healthcare. As because I am addressing to the faculty members, my dear faculty members, it's very difficult to accept, but it is good to accept as soon as possible, at least for the betterment of the society as well as for the betterment of the students to whom we are addressing each and every day. The parents, they have they always keep everything on the teachers. They have expectation, they try to fulfill their expectations and their desire through a teacher. So that is what, like, let us understand and let us discuss how the technology is intervening the development of drug as well as in healthcare. So here the blockchain in healthcare is transformed to take the advantages of its capabilities. Let us understand the capabilities of the blockchain and how does it acts and where it has already started showing the results, wonderful results. Okay, so I'm affiliated to DIT University, Dehradun. Okay, this is the university, and I am Jagannath Sahu. Uh, the figures and materials used for the presentations are drawn from Google and other sources. Okay, before I'll start the topic, a few things I want to say to my colleagues. What are the highest priority research topics it is going on the world? That is the like top 20 priority topics. Maximum investment is taking place. That is on prosthetics, including tissue, that is artificial pancreas, and neural implants. For example, like for restoring vision, for restoring the hearing, everything, we got a wonderful success. Then how the artificial intelligence is helping us for the prevention of the disease, including neural degeneration, cancer, etc. How electronic proteins and DNA chips, you know, electronic proteins and DNA chips. Here, the proteins are not natural proteins; they are the electronic proteins. Okay, and then next one is imaging, including cellular telemonitoring, non-invasive physical sensing, then concentration of analyte and metabolites, real-time and time-dependent measurements, single biomolecule detections, including mass, size, chemical, optical, molecular recognition, signal processing algorithms. That is what like how this is how we are getting the maximum outcome as far as the telecommunication is taking place. Then is your DNA sequencing, nanofabrications, that is electrodes devices including patterning, then thin film technology, health monitoring and compliance, that is in real time, and the replacement of tissues. My dear friends, we are not far away from the science that that kidney or pancreas can be replaced with a biological printer. We can print at present. Our technology is sufficient enough to print the vital organs also. Okay, so my dear friends, it is good to understand that in 2020, November 2020, what are the top 10 emerging technologies of the world, which is listed in 2020. My dear friends, out of the all top 10, five are related to pharmacy or five are related to healthcare. My dear friend, first one is the microneedles for painless injection and test. These microneedles prevent pain while avoiding contact with the nerve endings and are typically about the width of a human hair. These are very tiny needles and no more than the depth of a sheet of paper and the width of a human hair. And it could bring us the pain-free injections. That is very important, is that it will bring us the pain-free injections. My dear friends, you ask any one of your relative or nearby who is taking insulin every day through injections, how it is painful. And whenever we are going for the blood testing, we know that what is the pain we are getting it. What is the solution is the micro needles. Okay, and that is possible because of enormous technological support that is by 3D printing. Okay, and they could allow the blood vessel to be done at home and sent to the lab or analyzed on the spot. And because their use does not require expensive equipment or high level of training, testing and treatment could be delivered in underserved areas, making more accessible. Okay, so this technology is already available for administering vaccines and is being used in clinical trial for treating diabetic cancer and neuropathic pain. The next one is, my dear friends, the next one is the virtual patients. This is a very interesting topic, and as I told you, that like at during pandemic we have seen the growth of this vaccine, and lot of argument and discussion took place related to this human trial of the vaccines. My dear friends, now we can have the virtual patients. It is very challenging, and many people they ask why to treat human as a testing animals. So to have a solution to that, we can create the virtual patient. If the goal of swapping, this is in the second, the goal of swapping humans for simulations to make clinical trials faster. We don't need actually human for this, okay, and safer, which will have simple and science behind anything. But data taken from higher images of human organ is fed into complex mathematical model of the mechanisms that control that organ function. We have to, the complex mathematical model, it is already, it is in the process. We can expect that within a year or two, we'll get a wonderful result. Then, taking this mathematical complex model, the computer algorithm resolve the resulting equations and generate a virtual organ that behaves like the real thing. My dear friends, here the virtual organ will be developed. Okay, and virtual, you may ask, if we develop a virtual organ, so how does it matter? It matters that we can replace the human beings, and moreover, the virtual organ can be made with a different category of the patient. What I mean to say that, if we want to do or take a pool of tubercular patient, and if we if we can predict what is the liver condition of a tubercular patient who has taken such and such drugs after 6 months, then easily it can be, the mathematical model can be created, and that is what it will generate the virtual organs. And such virtual organs or body system could replace the people in clinical, in initial assessment of drugs and treatment, making the process quicker, safer, and less expensive. Okay, my dear friends, the FDA is already using computer simulations for evaluating new mammography systems. Okay, the third one is the digital medicine. It sounds very bad, but my dear friends, many people or many scientists, they are saying that, in near future, that is by 2030, probably there will be no pill at all for the treatment. We can, at present, what does it mean, the digital pill? The digital or digital medicine. Here, we'll take different app, and what we'll do, we can use the app which will suggest us what the medicine to be taken, and here the artificial intelligence will help us to take a good, to take a excellent judgment on the as far as the medicine. My dear friends, all of us, we know that the medicines, or each and every medicine is having certain toxic levels. How we can avoid it? And it is one of the largest killer in the world. Or due to the drug toxicity, we know that, in recent pandemic also we got to know that there are certain toxicity occurred because of the hydroxychloroquine in USA, or remdesivir in India. Many people, either they became disabled or they died unnaturally because of the drug. So digital medicine won't replace doctors at any time soon, but apps that monitor conditions or administer therapy could enhance their care and support patients with limited access to health service. Many smartwatches can already detect if their wearer has an irregular heartbeat, and similar tools are being worked on that could help with breathing disorders, depression, Alzheimer's, and more. So pills containing sensors are even being developed. These send data to apps to help detect the things like body temperature, stomach bleeds, and cancerous DNA, etc. also. So that is what the next one is, the whole genome synthesis. Researchers use software to design genetic sequences that introduce into a microbe, thereby reprogramming it, and the ability to write our own genome will enable doctors to cure many genetic disorders. My dear friends, this technological intervention, which shall make a lot of improvement in design genetic sequences that are then introduced into the microbes and are making it possible to print ever larger amounts of genetic material, my dear friends, which will print a very large amount of you know the genetic materials and alter their genomes more extensively. This can give insight into how viruses spread or help in producing vaccines and other treatments. That is how we could produce that COVID-19 vaccine within a year. Okay, my dear friends, the next one is quantum sensing. And here we can get a very good information about the person's brain activity. We can understand the person's brain activity. Okay, and here we are how we can understand the person's brain activity. Actually, at present, this quantum sensing is very much useful in navigation system. Okay, and yearly warning system for volcanic activity. But now it is very easy, or it will be great if we understand the person's brain activity. Okay, and this will take around 3 to 5 years to reach into the market. Okay, so this is for top 10 emerging technology that is listed. Okay, my dear friend, as I was talking about digital pill, it is not far away that the doctors may be replaced with a digital doctor, or otherwise I can say that artificial doctor, artificial intelligence doctor, not artificial doctor, artificial intelligence doctor, right? So this is the app, that is digital pill v20 2.0, and you just see, just click on the pane, you have to enter your data. I'll talk much on this securities aspect. Okay, so my dear friends, I'm coming to my content of the presentation today. That is what is blockchain, what are the challenges. Okay, and all this I'll be discussing. So my dear friend, what is this blockchain? This blockchain, if I in a simple word, if I say that like I'm going to a hospital, now my data are entered into a big pothi, where it's a, probably you must have seen very long pages, and they write everything there, and then it is closed. So that data is not being used for any other purposes. And if someone is interested to do research, it is very difficult to take the data, from those files which is kept in the hard copies. Okay, and if you ask a hospital that how many patients has they have visited in 2010, probably, none of the hospitals at present, they can answer your question. Okay. So here, what I mean to say that there is a, if I take healthcare, there are few blocks. One is the information generated in a hospital. The second one is the informations generated in a diagnostic center. Third one is the information generated in a pharmacy where the drug selling or dispensing is taking place. The fourth one is that the people, those who are involved in, trading. The fifth one is that manufacturing. So if all these datas are in isolations, and if we club these datas, then it will have a wonderful result. Okay. Now, say for example, if I'll ask, what is the consumption of paracetamol in India? Right. So from where we'll get this data? Okay. So all these questions, so for example, someone is interested to do marketing or do manufacturing in India, this paracetamol tablet, then what will be the research factor? That means he has to do a lot of research before taking a decision or before putting a plant that how much paracetamol has to be manufactured. But how the blockchain will help us, that is what my point of discussion. Okay. So 30% of health access see blockchain at top 5 priorities. My dear friends, it is in top 5 priorities. The global healthcare market spends on blockchain expected to hit 5.61 billion US dollar by 2025. Here, why we are discussing, because we have to train our students, and if 2 or 3 students, they will be trained about the recent requirements or recent developments in the pharmaceutical field or in the healthcare, probably the purpose of this FDP shall be fulfilled. Okay. And the adoption of the blockchain technology could save the healthcare industry up to 100 to 150 US billion dollar per year by 2025. I told you, each and every research is, we have to pay for it. But if I can get it, one is the time, and the second one is the price. So both are precious as far as the research is concerned. And as you will have quick research, certainly any outcome of health research will have a excellent service to the society or to the mankind. Okay. And here it is because related to cost, IT cost, operation cost, support function cost, and personal cost, and through a reduction in frauds and counterfeit products. All of us, we know that India like country, we have seen how much of fraud has taken place about remdesivir, and I'll tell you how it could have been managed in a better way. Okay. Or because of the poor intervention of this blockchain, how we, first of all, their cost was very high. Okay. The second one is that they got a very wrong product which was not containing remdesivir, and that is why a lot of death could have been taken place. And the third most important is that it is a great loss for the company, those who have invested a lot for the development of this product. Okay. And because of this, you see, one is the death. Always, all of us, we have to remember that the disabilities also. Some people, if they have lost their vision, or they are unable to identify, or they are unable to do certain activities, and all of us, we know that even after recovery from the COVID-19 infection, many people, they died because of the heart choke and all, or because of the blood clotting. Okay. So here, if the blockchain, it's a very matured system. It is not, and certainly to become very much matured, it won't take much time now. And certainly, if we can avoid all these middlemen, as I told you, then certainly the cost will be reducing. Okay, and moreover, we can avoid, or uh, we cannot say that fraud will be nil, but at least we can reduce the frauds. Okay, my dear friends, what is the role of blockchain in pharmacy? This blockchain technology can truly revolutionize the pharmaceutical sector as a whole, as a as well as drug discovery, development, and distribution process. My dear friends, how it will help in drug discovery, we'll discuss. Okay, and certainly how it will help in development. Okay, and you see, at present, say for example, I want to make a investment on an antibiotic or anti-tubercular drug, then I have to understand what is the total, number of patients and how the treatment is carried out. Is there any need of a new drug or not? Then only it will help us in deciding or to go for a pinpoint drug discovery, and certainly it will help us in development and distribution process. I can say that in India the distribution process was completely failed during pandemic, as far as remdesivir is concerned and as far as oxygen, because of poor technological intervention. So previously it was estimated now 9 out of 10 drugs failed to market into clinical trial, and a lot more, yeah, even reached the FDA approval stage. My dear friend, that is why the successful new drug costing was 10,000 crore, because the expenses on the failure candidates used to be, they are added to the successful candidate. Okay, so the big problem for pharma companies is getting crucial patient data in an era when they are not really trusted by people. Okay, so what is the challenge, my dear friend, displaying in the pharma data? You see, now if exactly we are living in a technological world, but if I ask what the data we got about COVID-19 patient, each and every person individual will say that no, the data is something different. This data is something, somehow it is manipulated data. So, what is the first challenge is that data problem faced by pharmaceutical companies, especially when it comes to the drug development, is a grave disparity of the data. Okay, remember, pharma data is often recorded and it is stocked away in silos and is accessed through several different platforms. My dear friends, like I want Sanjivani from Himalayas. It is very difficult to find out that plant, and that is what the data we are generating. My dear friends, can you imagine just have a, just have a, just close your eyes and just think of, if I want to take the data of all the patients from a good hospital, how much of data is going to be generated from a hospital? Now, if I want to make all the hospitals in the country into a network, how much of the data will be generated? And out of all those data, if I need a data that, say for example, how many tuberculosis patients they have visited in India for a particular day, can we access that? At present, it is no. Okay, so what is even worse is that each department often uses a separate data structure. My dear friend, again, I'm keeping a data as per my own, and someone else is creating a data as per their wish. then how it can be retrieved when it is required? That is what searching a data like Sanjivani from Himalaya. Okay, so it will be very very difficult. Okay, but if there will be a structured data, each and every one, say there will be a policy by government of India that this patient data has to be served in this manner. My dear friend, each and every country, developed country, they are looking at getting the data from the country like India. Why? Because largest number of patients, because wide variety in the patient, wide variety in their poverty condition. There is a good number of anemic patient. Any type of patient you take, that is the largest, one of the largest number of patients they are available in India. Okay, but unfortunately we have never, and until now we have not thought of to make it into a commercial model. You see, the company, they are selling the data to someone, they are earning. So why you will not sell our data? I'll talk on, you may say that what is the privacy of a patient? So that privacy has to be kept, it has to be protected. And certainly in near future, probably that is like intellectual property right, there will be a law like peasant property right, PPR. That was intellectual property right, but I am talking about, I am coining a word that is peasant property right. My data is my property. If someone wants data from me, they have to pay me. Okay, so that is what this blockchain will help us. So as such, getting access to all important data whenever needed is crucial for pharma companies for big data analytics. So there is an area where artificial intelligence, big analytics, and blockchain can work in tandem to deliver efficiency and accurate results for pharma firms. The good news is that around 61% of the pharma companies are already embracing AI with blockchain implementation in the pipeline. My dear friends, now I am talking about 61% of the companies, probably in near future, within 2 to 3 years, probably more than 90% of the companies, they will be really depending on AI and blockchain. That is what all of us, at least we have to train our students. We have to throw some lights to the students. A few people may be interested at present, but if one or two students they look at, there are number of online courses are available also. And as because I am addressing to the faculty members, those who are interested to implement in their institutions, how it can be started from the beginning. I have the course structure with me. On request, I can give it to you, and I can tell you the model how it can be fitted into the PCI curriculum also. This is like the friends, you can write to me. I'll share my this one also email ID. Okay, so challenge number two, that is data analytics is time consuming and resource heavy. I told you what are the resources and how we can make the analysis. So for example, I want to know that how many of the tuberculosis patient with diabetic and cardiac, and what are the drugs they are taking in combinations, and what is the effect of these anti-diabetic and cardiac drugs on tuberculosis treatment. Probably this is a complex question, and which could have been we can get the answer if there is an intervention of this AI. That is what I told you. This is a very time consuming process. Even if I'll ask this question, if you ask any student to go to a hospital, probably he will take a year from a hospital to get all these data. Okay. So that is what managing large data sets really quite a challenge for both and small, big pharmaceutical companies. Challenge number three, that is data inaccuracies and ambiguity around relevances. So again, there is a lot many data which is very inaccurate, right? And that pharma companies store data in silos, which can be accessed through a desperate channel. It's often hard for them to be certain if all the data available is still fresh and insightful. So enter blockchain technology. When it is leveraged properly, blockchain can help pharma record, store, and sort their data in a way that yields insight that are always relevant and unambiguous. More importantly, any solution that can help pharma accurately handle data will eventually save lot of money, source of the bottom line, and improve the health results for everyone. So this is a very robust technology, okay, and how it can transform the pharma. First of all, as I told you, improvement in the drug supply chain. My dear friends, each and every company is struggling. I'll not name the market. I have not visited that market also, but people say that if you go to that market and say that I need, say for example, Ranvex is this product tomorrow with a, the product cost is 10 rupees. I want the product in 1 rupee. They will say that yes, tomorrow or day after tomorrow you come, you will get it. That means there is a very poor drug supply chain. Okay, and we have seen, and country has paid a lot. If I analyze, it may not be accurate figure because of wrong supply of the remdesivir. Probably thousands of people must have died because of the non-availability or because of the fraud remdesivir available. Okay, my dear friends, managing an effective health supply chain comes with an added risk and complexity for big pharma companies because a compromised supply chain can have grave ramifications, especially to health outcomes and patient safety. The most prominent beneficiaries of the technology will be the pharmaceutical companies, which lose approximately 200 billion US dollar to counterfeit drugs each year. My dear friends, can you imagine what a fraud, you know? But the figure may be very high also in, underdeveloped countries. By enabling complete visibility and transparent throughout the drug supply chain, blockchain will allow tracking the drugs to their point of origin and thus help to eliminate the falsified medication, reducing revenue loss up to 43 billion US dollar annually for pharma companies. So the first one is that it will improve drug supply chain. It is a technology that is well suited for protecting every aspect of the health distribution chain. Using blockchain to improve the health supply chain as well as optimizing the efficacy of the Internet of Healthy Things. My dear friend, it is probably new word for every one of us. We have listened Internet of Things, but it is coined as Internet of Healthy Things. Safeguarding internet connected medical equipment, combating counterfeit medicines, and much more. One of the biggest challenges that affect the pharmaceutical supply chain is rampant counterfeit or falsified medicines. These fake Or compromised drugs are the result of poor manufacturing practices and techniques, ineffective storage, theft of drugs, of medicines, and the market penetration of low quality and fraud products into the so-called gray market. Probably, gray market is not a, it was not a very common word as far as the pharmacy is concerned, but now probably we can say that there is a big gray market and lot of players are playing in the big market, gray market as far as the pharmacy is concerned. In fact, WHO says that the black market or fraud medicines market is worth a whooping 75 billion US dollar, but the figure could be even higher in reality. Of course, the pharma supply chain is susceptible to counterfeit the drugs not just in low income and developing nations also, but also right there in US also. My dear friends, we have seen hydroxychloroquine. What even in USA, where each and every drug product is linked with blockchain, but they could not even minimize during pandemic. So this is what, if I talk of blockchain in short form, we have data from the primary care, from the hospital, from the telemedicine sources, then from pharmacy, from health apps, insurance companies. We can get lot of information from the insurance companies and specialty care hospitals. Now, for the betterment, if we can, make a chain, then it is called as blockchain. Anywhere we can access any data with a security. I don't say that the security should be compromised. Only a licensing person should be permitted to use the data. But is not it essential to know what are the drug consumptions in a hospital, type of drug consumptions, and what are the sources of the drugs? If that we can answer, then certainly the fraud drugs will never enter into a hospital. That is what the role of a blockchain. Okay. So next one, it will improve the drug supply chain. My dear friends, FDA, US FDA has won 1,000 healthcare organizations and health practitioners in several states that they may have fallen victim into fake medicine rings. It's very difficult to identify the fake medicines from a right medicines. Okay, and more especially they are notified that they might have been sold, the fraud Avastin, one of the most sought after anti-cancer drug in the market. And all of us, we have seen how the fraud has taken place for life-saving drugs like remdesivir and hydroxychloroquine. Okay, so that is why US FDA started, for the, to have a legislation of Drug Supply Chain Security Act, that is DSCS Act, which has already been signed into a law. You'll dig a little deeper into the nitty-gritty of the blockchain, you'll realize that the technology satisfied nearly every criteria needed for the compliance. If we want to comply such, we have to accept the blockchain. Without that, it is never be possible to have a control over fraud supply or fraud, drugs. So these criteria include drug product identification. We can identify at any level. Even a patient can identify whether he has received a product of that quality, whether it is being produced by the company or not. It can be identified. If there will be a good intervention, certainly it can be identified by the patient at the patient level also. It should be checked at every level. Okay. Then product tracing and tracking. I can trace the product where it has gone. If I have produced, if the company has produced 1 lakh vials, then certainly each and every vial where it has been reached, the company can track. Say, for example, all of a, from a hospital data, like we have seen the death rate in different states. Like a state is claiming that there was 100 death, but during pandemic it has been seen that there was 1,000 dead bodies. It has been cremated. The same way, say for example, in I'm talking about Berhampur. In Berhampur, there is a 1,000 remdesivir injections were used in the month of May. But as far as all companies record, only 200 remdesivir injections it has been channeled through proper channel to Berhampur during May. Then what about the 800 vials? So certainly it might be fraud, or it has been obtained from a different source. So that is what getting or tracking the product is very very important. The next one is the product verification. Okay, like each and every product can be verified. Okay, then against this background, pharma companies might want to join hands with mature blockchain. My dear friends, it will not be far away, because there is a great benefit which is companies they are going to get, and that is what every company they will join their hand. Okay, to design, implement, and manage their drug supply chain. The second one is manage and access data trial for research purpose. Okay. Now, say for example, there is a good proverb: we cannot do research in isolation. The second one is that what I'm getting, like many countries they used to say that in India we are doing excellent, large highest number of PhDs we are producing at present. But whatever, what is the outcome? Is it only for say, for getting a degree, or am I sharing my information for business? Like there is a good word that, like USA, they never do research for their degree. They do the research for the earning. Now, say for example, my PhD, if I ask each and every one of you, most of you must be having PhD degree, then what is the outcome of my PhD degree? Publication? Okay, of course, for the publication will help in making a basic research. Okay, but is it that sufficient, or something else we have to look at? Okay, managing and accessing the drug trial data is a hot button issue, hot button issue in the health industry, and more so for pharma companies. It always feels like a trade off between privacy and data sharing, which presents a huge problem for pharma IT. The truth is that most pharma companies keep their drug trial data in centralized database, which have to compliant with ISO and HIPP, that is Health Insurance Probability and Accountability Act 1993, the confidentiality and other ethical and regulatory requirements. The trouble is that these centralized databases make it hard for the researchers and drug trial leaders to share the data with the right people. First of all, I am afraid of that someone will have a legal suit against me sharing the data, because I don't know whether the person is asking the data is a right person or not. But certainly this blockchain will come into a great play. So blockchain in healthcare will help pharma create auditable, unalterable, no one can change the data, unalterable and distributed databases for storing and accessing the drug trial data, right? So like MIT, this engine assist, I'll talk on few companies, those who are involved in such kind of, they have used the blockchain and they got a wonderful result. Okay. So this MIT Enigma system, for instance, it is a fully fledged blockchain initiative that uses 2 crore the cryptographic blocks that work in tandem on top of a peer-to-peer network nodes. In simple terms, this system is a secret sharing platform that allows the researchers to maintain a high level of privacy and security when dealing with the clinical studies data. Okay. Then next one is the clinical trial bookkeeping. It's very difficult. What are the, keeping accurate medical trials is a tough business. Like we have seen in the past, many drugs, they are launched into the market with a inaccurate medical trial data. Okay. And because of that, many patients, they paid a lot, you know, by sacrificing their life or by making themselves disabled. So staying in on top of the top accounting and cost during clinical studies, trials, especially those that last for long periods, as well known challenge to pharmaceutical companies. So these bookkeeping tools currently available are far too complicated and don't capture the holistic cost pictures of the clinical trials. The good news is that blockchain technology can be implemented to keep a track of clinical trials, financials, as well as make bookkeeping efficient, accurate, and easy. Due to the inherent complexity of the clinical trial financials, companies like Boehringer Ingelheim have announced working with blockchain firms to streamline their bookkeeping and financial reporting activities. One of the Canadian-based unit of Boehringer just recently reached out to IBM to design, develop, and deploy a blockchain-powered bookkeeping system for the clinical trial pilot project. Okay, so the first of a kind in pharma industry, this collaboration will yield a new blockchain solution to improve the quality of clinical trial process and correct record keeping. The clinical trial ecosystem is highly complex as it involves different stakeholders. All of us, we know that the clinical trial, it helps different stakeholders. Whatever the outcome, like a researcher, a student, the physicians, the diagnostic centers, the clinics, and the companies, government, WHO, everyone is the stakeholder of this clinical trial, resulting in limited trust and transparency and process inefficiency without the patient empowerment. So find the right people for the medical trial is very, very faster. My dear friends, like if I say, like I want to do a company is knocking at your door, being a pharmacy organization, I want to make a clinical trial. Okay, can you connect me? The conditions are, say for example, one is TB patients. The second one, the TB patients, those who are having hypertension, as well as they must be diabetic, and I need the age group of 16 to 20, and they must be of female category. Okay, and the number 5, their weight should be in between 50 to 60. Can you find such category of the patient? Okay, so that means, first of all, I don't have the informed consent. So there must be a consent from the person that, yes, I am ready to take the medical trial. So, my dear friends, this pharma and healthcare facilities spend a huge amount on money and lot of time finding, qualifying, and onboarding the right candidates for their clinical trial. Given that only 10% of new drugs make it to the market, it's critical to identify and recruit the absolute perfect candidates. Currently, there are several different software and technology used by pharma to do this. Unfortunately, this technology don't always ID the right patient, hence the need for a blockchain technology. Two aspects are there from a consumer and a pharma point of view. As a consumer, I am ready, and for a pharma also, they are ready to take me. But who has to play in between? The gap is very, very high, and to minimize this gap there should be a that blockchain has to it has come into the in between consumer and a pharma company to reduce the gap. Okay, so blockchain technology is used to make patient clinical trial matching more efficient, more cost effective, and very, very faster. I don't need to search for patient. Just I'll click on that who are the patient available in Berhampur in the coastal belt and belongs to this category. Immediately I can knock it. But if you try to, if you want to develop a protocol, today you sit and just develop a protocol by making this. How will you proceed? Probably by seeing the complexity, you'll stop doing the research, right? So that is what the usefulness of the blockchain will be helping us to have a informed decisions. So technically, blockchain itself is used to track the unique patient identifier. It is a central place to keep a tab on these identifiers, make it easy for pharma professional to match patients with their clinical trials. Today, researchers try to find the right candidate for the drug trials via patient IDs, which is mapped onto the electronic health record data. You know, patient ID, which is mapped onto the electronic health data. I appreciate the effort and the vision of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji that once our health data is mapped with Aadhaar, probably will be the largest earning country as far as this data is concerned. But we have to, you know, take a long way to reach into that level. Okay, it's a total mess. I can say that at present, you miss the potential candidates, but you know, and truly speaking, there are tons of manual work. You know, if even out of these five, you take only three criteria, how it will be difficult, you can imagine. Those who are involved in research, especially pharmacology people, they can understand what is the complexity of this study. Okay, so healthcare institutions and providers, let us face it, managing data, staying on the top of compliance, and government regulations are not easy work in the park of health organizations. Yes or no? It's very, very difficult. Government regulations, they are very tight enough. The whole process can be hard, tedious, and inefficient. Even if I work hard, and it is very much expensive also, but what is my outcome? It is a very or I can say that very wrong output. So the process is very inefficient, not to mention the hefty cost associated with this. In fact, according to a survey conducted by KPMG, that is 38% of the top healthcare CIOs say better manage of electronic health care record is top of their agenda and budgeting needs. This is the need of the hour. If they cannot manage this one, certainly everyone is working in a blind well, right? In with this said, blockchain can help to improve interoperability, security, shareability, compliance, management, and accessibility of patient data in many ways. The next one is very interesting. Consent management. Already I have highlighted a few things about the consent management. So forward-thinking health facilities, practices, and providers can set to the stage of consent management by leveraging the power of blockchain. Currently, the whole process of consent acquisition and management is a totally mesh. You need all these permissions, options, and informed consent from the patient. You need to stay compliant with how you handle protected health information. On top of that, healthcare organizations must protect data and patient privacy. This is an area where blockchain firms like health variety bring their a game, like you can click on Google, that is health variety. It's a farm which has changed a lot. This health variety is transforming how modern healthcare institutions make critical and defining decisions, and especially when it comes to handling the patient data. This health variety has developed a blockchain based platform that serves as the stage for a rapid generation, sharing, and management of patient and healthcare data. This way, only parties with express, those will be, you know, they will be granted permission can access the patient data on the fly without the compromising its security and consumer privacy. Okay, and health variety platform eliminates other challenges like data inconsistency, ambiguity, and fragmentation. Okay, the result is a robust consent management system that makes it effortless for relevant and permitted parties to collect patient data for this health insurance and this act, compliance, marketing, and plethora of other healthcare purposes. Now, if I take example that fill up forms for a hospital intake, you know, whenever you visit a government hospital or other hospital, also you have to fill up a form. Why this form is filled? Because your data has to be kept and it may be used for the future references. But is it that whenever you, so for example, you have been to MKCG hospital before 5 years, and after 5 years you are visiting, do they retrieve that information? Certainly not. Okay, but hospital admissions intake process can feel like climbing Mount Everest, right? And patient often waste time queuing and filling out appropriate forms. That is what blockchain companies like Calibrate Blockchain are looking to change the things for the better. The firm has developed a blockchain powered engine called Universal Patient Index for its form Drop mobile app. And what this mobile app does is enable hospitals to use a blockchain solution that allows new patient to fill in patient form ahead of going to the hospital to avoid lines and wasted times. Then is your smart contracts. It's a very essential, I want to have a contract with MKCG hospital sitting at Dehradun. How is it possible? At present, probably the answer is partially no. So, first of all, where the contracts is required, one is business to business smart contracts. The second one is patient hospital contracts, right? Like we have seen business to business smart contract. If I take the example, there was a big mesh between the oxygen suppliers and the hospital. There are two business companies. The second one is that during pandemic, the patient was moving here and there, and while searching a good hospital, many of them they died because there was no good contracts between patient and hospital. Okay, and that is what the middlemen have existed in the healthcare ecosystem. And all of us, we know that when the middlemen are there, uh, if we have to pay a lot. Okay, that is what the blockchain will help us to have a smart contracts. So these smart patient hospital contracts, on the other hand, present a more efficient, cost effective, and simpler solution. So for example, in the this system, what I'll do, I'll just click on that I'm suffering from diabetic, and I am having some kidney disorders. Instead of, if I'll go to, say for example, MKCG, probably they will put you, by considering severity, they'll give you the option if you want to go to Bhubaneswar or Cuttack, or you want to go to Vizag. you know they'll give you immediate, that options as per their knowledge, and that knowledge may be biased also, because I am having, if I'm forwarding to some hospitals, private hospital, I'll be getting some benefit, which which might not be a proper hospital for that particular patient. Okay, but if I can get it in a palm top or in my mobile, certainly, before, you know I shall take a decision, it will guide me. For such kind of patients, these are the five hospitals where you can take. And even it can tell you the bed strength availability in that particular hospital. Instead of going here and there, say for example, someone got a cardiac stroke. Instead of going one and knocking at the door, and you will get a good refusal, better you take and book a bed in your mobile. So that is what you can have, better contracts. Okay, then next one is the credential verification for the physicians. My dear friend, we are living in a country where probably the quacks and the fake doctors are still having a handsome amount of earning by sacrificing our good soul. you know so this Hast Health is a company using blockchain to ensure that only genuine physicians make to the healthcare ecosystem. They built a credential verification system for physicians to prove they are indeed licensed to operate. And Hast Health partnered with Accenture, Wellcare, Spectrum Health, National Government Services, and all these, blockchain powered credential systems. The solution is actually an exchange platform that provides hospital and other healthcare institutions with access to verified credentials. Okay, and the participating healthcare organizations are allowed to define particular rules, artifacts, data, and validation check for credentialing any type of employee, from HPS and nurses to physicians and other specialists. Ultimately, the blockchain based platform helps doctor and healthcare organizations alike save time and be compliant with various requests. And then the source of data and transfer it safely between devices and healthcare providers. This is again a very important point. Then, first of all, we have to secure our data. The second one is that transfer it safely between the devices. So for example, many of us, we are saying, people, they are saying that iPhone is very safe because it is not sharing, or other people cannot track easily certain devices. Okay, because everyone is finding a good business from your data. Once you give a number to any company, probably what they are doing, they are selling those data. It is not a new business now, and they are earning millions of rupees. Okay, so that is what. But unfortunately, in certain cases, that is what Twitter and all the game is going on in India. Okay, so for that, there will be a good intervention of blockchain. Okay, now next one is the payers. How we can pay to a right person at a right time, and what is the processing, that is here. One is electronic data interchange processing. First of all, there should be a high level of interoperability, faster payment processing, and safer electronic data interchange. Okay, and here many companies, they came into picture. Just I can say that IBM announced that it has partnered on blockchain network for healthcare industry with several insurance. So, for example, now if you go to a hospital, if you have insured it, then what they do, they take a faster process to get the compensation from the insurer. But to make it very, very faster, this blockchain will come into the picture. Okay. The next one is what about the micro payment? Like various providers already try to incentivize patients to be healthy. Like, so for example, if I say that, you go to the Cigna Healthy, which will reward you, you will get some micro, like you pay in Google Pay, you will get 5 rupees, 10 rupees. These are the small or micro payments. So, for example, you are using a health app, okay, but if you are joining in simultaneous healthcare programs, like, so for example, I am an insurer, my insurance company, what is looking at, if someone is taking a fitness club, gym, certainly my load as a company, my load will be reducing. If someone is joining fitness club, now claiming for health insurance, it will be lesser as compared to other people. So what they will be doing, they will be giving, or they will be making a reward, or they are they have started getting the giving the reward, as well as get the, say for example, someone is getting the vision and hearing care, they get a special discount on that. And if you want alternative medicine like acupuncture, register for mind and body wellness program, or purchasing of the vitamins and wellness product, you will get a healthy good discount, and these are called as micro payments. So it's very difficult to have a control over the micro payments. Okay. Now this is a Humana. This is another one. At this blockchain, this software has similar micro payment reward program that offers deep discount into the members that choose to embrace a healthy lifestyle. Okay. So recently, Blue Cross Blue Shield announced that they will offer steep discount for the Fitbit products. If you take a Fitbit products to its 60 million members, because from the Fitbit, if I'll talk about this Fitbit watch, this is a smart watch, okay, which will record each and every day how long you do your exercise, whether in a week how many days you have done the exercise, how many calories you have burned, and what was the heart rate during your sleeping time, during your like when you do your work, what is your movement, everything, it is being recorded and it is being shared, okay, with your due permission. I'm saying that it is being shared with your due permission. Okay, so that means we will not be surprised in future that none of the company will offer you a health insurance by considering the data from the this electronic devices. Okay, so this partnership with Fitbit is aimed to help consumers create and maintain healthy habits according to the Healthcare Weekly. Then it will have a good revenue cycle management. If I go for patient registration, then I'll go for patient examination, then there will be a coding. Coding, that means according to the patient a different code, and according to the disease and all the different coding will be there. Then there will be charge entry, then claim submission. If you have some insurance, then what is the payment processing, then patient billing and collection, and this is the revenue for a healthcare providers. Okay, but it's not easy to have a link between all these. Am I clear? So here the blockchain can help us. Here they are saying that something, it is around, we can save that 500 billion US dollar. Okay, so it will improve the medication adherence. In India, tuberculosis situation is very worst because non-adherence of the medication. Okay, so here, if I say that, if I look at commercially, in fact, improved drug adherence can lead to the cost saving of more than 200 billion US dollar, and eight in USA, and 800 million US dollar in UK, and in India probably it will be very difficult to say, but it may not be lesser than some 10,000 billion US dollar. Okay, so this one, so for example, I can say that like UK, that one of the company, that my PCR, they have launched that world first blockchain powered personal care record PCR platform. And my PCR platform not only automates the verification of medical adherence, but also ensures patient data integrity and provenance. So, for example, a tuberculosis patient has to take 6 months medicine. If he gets, for example, in morning, yeah, someone, say, for example, he has to take isoniazid. So if he gets an alarm that at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock you have to take this alarm, probably adherence will be there. And so, for example, the patient has been given with 1 month medicine. So before 1 month medicine, before 5 days, if a patient gets an alarm that you please take your medicine, get your medicine for next month, if it is a government provided medicine, then take your medicine each and every day. If it receives, then certainly it will have a better outcome. So this is already I told you, consumers and providers pray. Then medical history and management and sharing. So here, like I have, say for example, blood pressure. All these, you must have seen a diagnostic that list. So what about this data? Okay, so this patient medical data often reside in separate silos. Yes or no? That makes it a strenuous task for those who need the data for the patient diagnosis and treatment and care. Okay, and certainly it is not being used for any research or for the society. Now, the second most important is that medical tourism. Like I can say that I know there is India is a very good or good country, that is a like around 60 countries, they are coming to India for their treatment. But if you make a very user friendly, now most those countries, they want to come to India. Like from India, some critical cases, they are being referred to USA and other countries. So to improve this tourism, like we have different platforms now, like Make My Trip and all. They are helping to have visitors. That is a tourism. So if we want to have a user friendly, and if we want to invite the patients from various countries, we have to make a centralized one. Okay, and how we can make a centralized one? That is what you know we have to make the technological intervention. If I say that, at present we have to say a big no, yes or not, in the and at present we want to have everything instantly. We cannot wait, or we don't have the patience to wait. And why a patient should wait? If we ask the patient to wait, probably each and every moment is very much crucial actually. Okay, and Indians going abroad for medical tourism, there is an increased need for a secure, efficient, and a distributed way for them to share their medical histories with the foreign doctors. Okay, in practice, medical chain, I'm not saying blockchain, the new word that is medical chain, that is the blockchain which is used for this medical tourism, does both electronic medical records sharing as well as allow the users to sell their data to the researchers. It will allow your data which can be sold and the patient can earn. Okay, sell your medical data on blockchain marketplace. Already I have told you. Okay, if you want, but the security will be maintained. It is not like that anyone will play with your security. Okay, so this is like somewhere, if I want a personalized medicine, there must be intervention of AI. I cannot, due to constraint of time, I cannot talk on those. And what are the basic requirement is that if I want AI and blockchain and machine learning to intervene in our health system, one is the most is that electronic health record. The second one is sensor data. Then what is the environmental and my lifestyle? Then researchers are taking first step toward developing personalized treatment for the disease from cancer to depression. There is a very big opportunities and challenges are also there. Okay, there are various companies. This is Ampelion, and this is November, to 2020. I want to uh, inform my dear colleagues. This Ricardo is a, this is a report of November, who could develop the human tissues and organs, and which can be used for the drug screening, disease modeling, and regenerative medicines also. My dear friends, there are a lot of technological interventions for healthcare. This is Sri Ram Chandrasekhar again. You know, the traditional way of discovering antibiotic is not a proper way from soil and plant. So he has, developed, these artificial neurons, deep learning can perform the complex task. Okay, so the future perspectives of the treatment makes more informed medical decisions. We can detect the disease at an early stage, reduce the use of harmful drugs and therapeutic side effects, reduce the time, cost, and failure rate of clinical trials for new therapies, which will reduce the healthcare cost, increase the probability of desired outcomes, and shift the emphasis in medicine from reaction to prevention. My dear friends, I'll conclude here that artificial intelligence has proved itself to as a breakthrough in the age of information, and especially due to its application in healthcare domain. So this personalized medicine and artificial intelligence can be considered as complementary to each other. Since AI helps in detection and prediction of the diseases, upon accurate diagnosis of disease, prescribes the appropriate treatment for the patients. So any queries are there, and certainly I am very much thankful to Roland Institute of Pharmaceutical Sciences and AICTE for inviting me, for giving the opportunity to have a discussion with my dear colleagues, my dear friends. So if I have failed to do something, I am very sorry. And if you can share something for the improvement, for the benefit of the society, certainly please write to me with drjagannathsaw@gmail.com. So any queries? Now I'll ask the organizer.
Thank you, sir, for your nice presentation. So you have clarified all this artificial intelligence, blockchain, and personalized medicines. So it will be very useful for the this current scenario. Sir, we have received some
Yeah.
questions on chat box, sir.
Yeah. Buddha Ranjan, humanized mouse is another way we can use the. Yeah, certainly it can be used. So, any other questions? So, Dr. Biswaman, probably there is no other questions.
Yes, sir. Another question.
Yeah. How blockchain technology help in new drug development? Very nice question. This is Mr. Ravi Naran Rana. I appreciate your question. Now, say for example, if I take the patient data, I'll take an example of tubercular drug. Okay. Now, say for example, we know that still there is no solution with us for many diseases. I am taking example of a tubercular, which is a bacterial disease, but we don't have a solution till date. Largest number of patients are there in India. Now, why the company will invest? You see, nothing is possible without any investment. Why the company will invest on this research, or I'll involve myself in this research if I see that there is a big potential for the future. Now I'll take the report of every patient. I'll see that what are the success of a uh, for the treatment and what are the failure rate. If there is a failure rate is very high, then what is the reason or what are the reasons of its failure? Okay, and moreover, what will be there? Here, if I say that blockchain, I am getting making a block, right? And I'll retrieve the information from all the sources which is available. Okay. Now, say how much I have to invest in the research. No one is investing in the research uh, without seeing a success in future. They must have to see, say, for example, they are doing investing in research 100 million US dollar in this. On what basis they'll decide? They'll decide that yes, after 5 years I can earn this much. Okay, but how many patients and what are the drugs, what are the success of the drug, success stories of the drug and failure of the drug, everything has to be taken into the consideration before starting a research. And that is what it will guide us. Say for example, I'll tell you a PhD student that uh, where you want to do the research, he will come with a blank face. But if I can access the data that yes, these are the emerging field, like I told you, AI, artificial intelligence, how it will help in developing the drug. So, first of all, artificial intelligence means it is a platform where we'll collect the data and will retrieve the data with a informed decisions which has been taken in various parts of the world. So here, say for example, with this genetic makeup, the persons are suffering from this. And so, for example, like if I take COVID-19 virus, so initially it was told that there was no drug, but we could identify the spike proteins. Okay, and to these spike proteins, what will be the lock and key method to be best fitted? So it can be identified only with the support of technology. That is what our this artificial intelligence and machine learning will guide us to have a pinpoint research. Okay, sir, what is the electron protein and what is its use? Yeah, Vimala Tripathi, thank you, Vimala. This is like what will be there. First of all, there is a like tumor cell. If I take the example of a tumor cell, or why the tumor cell has occurred, why the tumor cell has occurred, it is because of change in DNA, right? Change in DNA. So what I should do if I want that there should not be a tumor, or there should not be a replication of the tumor cell, I should change the DNA. There are two ways. Now the treatment is going on simultaneously. The research is going on simultaneously. The first one is that I'll go for, I'll take the DNA, I'll by CRISPR technology, I'll make gene editing, I'll make the defective gene away and I'll replace with a healthy gene. The other one is that I'll make an artificial gene, okay, and I'll replace it. Okay, that is that is called as electron. And here the role of this electronic protein is for the treatment of various diseases like Alzheimer's, cardiovascular diseases, even your treatment of cancer also, and most of the neuronal disorders also. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, Magam Sri Ramchandra, thank you. Thank you for your patience hearing. I am very much thankful to every one of you.
Thank you, sir, once again.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah,
namaskar,
Dr.
sir.
Niranjan, very nice to see you.
Sir.
Yeah.
Sir, thank you very much. And your talk was very informative, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Niranjan, very nice to see your smile face. I smile by seeing your smile face. Very good.
we get energy, sir, whenever we talk to you, sir.
Thank you. So
Sir,
nice of you.
I have a very simple doubt regarding this.
Yeah, please.
Regarding this 3D printing technology. Is
Yes.
it just like compounding, like for an individual patient, it will be prepared near the doctor and that can be given, or it is manufactured at the industry?
No, very good question, Dr. Niranjan Patra. And probably, that 3D printing, it is in large use. There are certain security reasons will be there, but for example, personalized medicine, I require 375 milligram of the paracetamol. Now it is not available in the market, so it will be available in the dispensary. it can be printed with 375 milligram and it will be handed over to the patient. Say, for example, I want a combination of 2, 3 drugs where there is a poor incompatibility. Now I have to buy 3 drugs differently, and which there may be a possibility of missing of the dose. If I can prepare that dose for 7 days for that particular patient, I told, with poor incompatibility or no incompatibility found within a week, then it will be a very win-win situation for the patient. And moreover, 3D printing is going to make a big revolution as far as healthcare is concerned. Probably, people are predicting by 2030 there will be no pharma industry, which may sounds very bad, but there will be no pharma industry because in pharma industry there are large, very huge investment is there. But 3D printing, certainly it can reduce the cost of production. It can minimize everything. Just print it and give it to the patient. But there are certain security and quality is will be a concern actually. We have to see
Yeah.
how the technology is helping us. But so far in India and in abroad also, it is not recommended to manufacture the drug. But with a very less effort, it can be manufactured. And another one very big revolution is there, that with the help of 3D printing, we can make various organs can be
Yes.
printed. Various organs. It is like within 2, 3 years. Probably, if I am suffering from diabetic, I'll just go to the hospital. I'll remove my pancreas and I'll replace with a fresh pancreas. That may happen. So we have seen a very good result. The report is saying excellent result as far as 3D printing is concerned. Okay, there are various technology and various uh, good stories about 3D printing also.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank you,
hope.
sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I have cleared.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, sir.
I I am thankful to the participants for their patience, patient hearing, as well as for their nice appreciation also. But I'll be happy if I get some feedback how I can improve myself. Yeah,
Thank you so much, Professor Jagannath Sahu, sir, for your valuable presentation on blockchain system. All of our participants are definitely going to be highly benefited by such an innovative technology, sir. Thank you, sir,
thank
for
you.
making time to sit throughout this presentation. Your session was very lively, engaging, and educative because of your presence, sir. May I now request our beloved Vice Principal and Co-Convener of this EFDP, Professor Dr. C.H. Niranjan Patra sir, to felicitate Professor Jagannath Sahu sir with an e-certificate of appreciation as a badge of our deep gratitude and respect from entire its fraternity.
Yeah, thank
Sir,
you.
sir,
Thanks
please
a
accept
lot.
this e-certificate, sir, on
Yeah,
behalf of
thanks a lot.
RIPS.
Thanks a lot.
And keep
Whenever,
on
whenever
giving your
I'm getting,
support.
yeah, thank you, thank
We need
you.
your support in future also, sir.
Yeah, certainly I'm there. Here, we are sharing the information for the profession only.
Yes, sir.
And thanks a lot to every one of you. By seeing you all, I'm feeling that I am in Berhampur.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very nice to see you. Thank you once
Yeah,
again, sir.
thank you. So nice of you.
Well, sir, sir.
Ah, okay.
Dear participants, with this, the session 1 of EFTP of day 4 has came to an end. We will be resuming the second scientific session of today's program very shortly. And there is a separate link given to join in the second session of EFTP. All of you please join using that second session link.